Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. The last meeting of the board of 2025 hath now convened. Call to order. We have standing conflicts. Rolinda Duran, Crystal Sanders for TWC and procurement issues, Susie Upshaw and Dan Mitchke for DISD matters, and Jeff Colwell for Texas Health and Human Services. Anyone else have a overarching conflict to state? Childcare group, Rebecca, still, but not too long. Anyone else? Okay, so we're now open for public comment. Has anyone signed up? No, then we will move on to my comments. My comments are just this. I think it's important for us to focus on a few things at a time, not everything. We have such talented people on this board, and I'm worried sometimes that we don't hear enough from everyone. So I'm gonna make a concerted effort, not today, don't get nervous, not calling you out. I'll talk to you before the board meeting about a topic I'd like to call you out on. You can pretend that I was surprised, you were surprised. But we will comply. That's our diving suit, to use my metaphor from last time. Faithfully, we will we'll secure solid funding and extra funding, because that's our air hose, and we are gonna work on our relationships. Internal, existing, and new, external. We need friends. So those are my comments, and without further ado, we'll dive into the approval of the consent agenda, because we have a judge coming and awards paraphernalia set up here, so you can tell that we're gonna try to get on time and stay on time. So who kicks us off?
Really quick, consent agenda begins on page 10. That's our September board meeting minutes. And then the only other page here is page 14. Top of the page is policy adopting state rule. There's no local flexibility on these items. And bottom of the page, we have external grants and partnerships. This month, these are all grants for which we are supporting. No money is flowing through Workforce Solutions Greater Dallas.
Is that it? Okay, so do I hear a motion or discussion? Okay, moved by Bill, second by Dan. Ayes? Any nays? Abstentions? Consent agenda is approved. And so now we move on to the committee reports. So my friend Rebecca, can you talk to us about the Achievement Alliance Committee?
So recent events that happened, the Texas Career Day was held on September 23rd at the Curtis Colwell Center in Garland, Texas. We saw 1.81 students come through with 89 teachers and 54 employers. The focus was on career and industry awareness. Dallas County Judge Clay Jenkins had his Year Hire Job Fest on October 2nd at Gillies and had great turnout. We, employers, and there were 55 employers and vendors, completed 57 surveys, 1,700 job seekers, and we've got offers, received offers and hires, individual interviews, 6, Zachary Construction 4, and Texas Tech University 2, a number of contingent and on-the-spot hires. Additionally, the committee discussed partnering on the hospitality side for apprenticeship and training programs, and Will, if they have not already connected with Carolyn. And we discussed more online social media work and continued growth.
Comments about that or questions? Karen, why don't you tell us a little bit about the Child Care Advisory Committee's workings?
We go. All right, the Child Care Advisory Council met on October 7th. And basically what we did at this meeting was to look at all the partners that are part of our quality initiative, the funds that we have for quality and who we are contracting with. So each one of them gave a presentation to the committee. One of them was Wonder School, and they are we hire them to work with one-on-one and give one-on-one business coaching, and onboarded 21 programs to a platform that they use to help people with their business practices. website and marketing, et cetera. So it's a childcare management software, but they also have a cohort that they work with. So there's 21 providers currently working in that cohort. Dallas College was the next. So again, Dallas College talked about all the different ways that they've streamlined, making it more accessible for childcare workers to get CDAs and their AA degree, and also leading to a bachelor's degree. So there's a lot of things that they've done with their programming to make sure that more people can access that education. They also talked about their formal apprenticeship program that we help to fund. So again, with our quality dollars, it sponsors the cost of CDAs, certificate programs, AAS degrees, and some bachelor's degree that we use the money for. And then Campfire of Dallas is another one of our contractors. And they provided administrative credential. Directors are responsible. You have, in order to meet licensing requirements, there's particular requirements a director has to have. And if you don't have those in terms of your education degrees, then you can get a credential. And so Campfire provides those hours for getting those credentials. And so we use some of our quality dollars to help pay for this 50-hour training that people do to get their credential. And then Educational First Steps is another one of our contractors, and they provide pre-service training. This is a licensing requirement that if you don't come in with particular training, you have to have so many hours of pre-service training. And so they've been doing pre-service training for early childhood people that need it, and they've actually expanded their training from 2 to 4 days. And then Child Care Group, of course, they are the people that coordinate all of this and manage all these services, but they also have been working to work on the ages and stages. This is an assessment that's important for TRS, that we look to see what the developmental stages are with children and be able to identify any children that are not at their right developmental stages so they can be referred. And so they are responsible for doing that program. And they've had about 223 teachers actually go through that training. And so basically that was the meeting. And right now the staff is working on the 226 child care quality plan that has to be sent to TWC by October the 30th.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you for the expertise both of you bring to this. Just a dumb question. What's a CDA? Okay, great. Let's move on to action items. I believe that's Demetria at the lectern already.
Yes, good morning. I have items on page 17 and 18 of your board packet. I have several items for action, and I'll run through them very quickly. The first one is adult education and literacy, a contract amendment to our existing partners who are serving Dallas County in our consortium. In June, we approved the initial budget based upon partial TWC allocations due to the federal funding being delayed. Just last week on October 7th, we received the final allocation for the program year, releasing the second wave of funding to local workforce boards. The initial contract budgets reflected partial funding to align with the federal funding allocation. So to ensure uninterrupted delivery of services, staff is recommending amending the existing contracts with the additional money that is in the chart, labeled as proposed amounts for Dallas College, Urban ISD, and Wilkinson Center at this time. These services will support the workforce development goals by equipping adults with the skills and credentials needed for sustainable employment. And any questions? The chart just kind of shows what we did in June, what we're asking for with the additional funding that we received just last week. That's available to us, and it gives you the total budget and then the projected performance measures in the chart. Any questions on that one? Nope. We want to take each item. I don't know if we have any.
Let's go ahead and do them, let's do them all at once. But any questions on that first one? Okay.
I didn't hear the question.
The process of allocation is what Ken's talking about, the how. Well, I mean, for example, in this one, I'm not entirely sure what exactly is happening. So like who's paying more who to who and how?
So for Dallas College, they do about 60% of the performance targets. So if you look at the performance target in the last column, we're tying those targets to the money of the people that we're serving. So we're offering high school equivalency, integrated education and training opportunities that will give them a credential. And then also, it also helps us with international trained professionals, English as a second language, and also work-based training.
Great. I think that sheds light.
So that's, okay. Thank you. I'll move to the next. Oh, there was another question.
Thing.
There you go.
Fantastic. So on the apprenticeship program, is that the partnership with the nonprofit organization? Who's administering the programming?
The third item on that page.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm reading ahead of time. Well, that's my question when you get to it.
I can go there. He said we could take them all, so I can talk about that one right now if you like.
I like it, Michelle, keeping us on track. Schedule.
Keep it moving. So I'll do that one, and I'll go back to C2 Global if you don't mind. So the Registered Apprenticeship Program, that was a new grant we applied for, and we actually was awarded $500,000 through an application process, thanks to Lynn and Rachel working together and pulling that together. So inside that proposal to the state, we partnered with Correlation One, who is the registered apprenticeship partner. And so they will be providing the actual training to the incumbent workers, and we're working directly with Southwest Airlines on this particular project.
That's fantastic work. Great job.
Thank you, team. So that would be another one that where we're wanting to contract with Coalition One to actually provide the training and the services, because we can't do that ourselves. We also have Ike that will be kind of overseeing that project on our team, and we will be contracting $426,870 to deliver the training and program services effective October 15th.
I'm just curious, what's the delta between the 500 and the 426?
That would be our administrative cost. We got to keep a little bit so we can pay for Ike to be here with us.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Any other questions on that one? Okay, I will go back to workforce system operations. Effective October 1, C2 Global Professional Services officially joined Workforce Solutions Greater Dallas as the new workforce system operations contractor. Thank you, C2 Global. Congratulations. They are be managing our 8 workforce centers throughout Dallas County, delivering comprehensive workforce services to connect job seekers, employers, and community partners, and making good friends, as Harry said. To strengthen service integration and align resources with strategic initiatives. These are the funding sources that we have to go and secure. We're asking you to authorize an amendment to their existing contract to add these special fundings, which includes adult ed, because they don't have that. They would do the job development for the services that our other providers are actually doing the instruction. So C2 Global will then step in and help us find jobs for those individuals that are coming out of adult education and literacy programs. So we're awarding money to C2 Global to help us do that function, as well as partners for reentry opportunities and workforce development. So though that is a specific program to individuals that have, that are given a second chance coming out of, it's a reentry program, so.
Demetria, is that new money for new work or it's the same work and they're just getting more money?
It's the same work, we're just awarding it to C2 Global to help us do it since we don't have Equus any longer. Any other questions? Okay. Okay, I'll keep moving. The next one is in the event additional TWC funding may be received before the next board meeting, since this is our last board meeting for the year. We are recommending that the board authorize our interim president, Ashley Verner, to amend contracts and allocate additional TWC fundings if we receive them within this timeframe. So we can continue our services and make sure we don't have a disruption to our customers in our centers. And all amendments will be presented to the board for ratification at our next meeting. Any questions?
Any questions on that? And let's go ahead and take these four as a group before we go into the final one. Do I hear a motion for granting these authorizations 1, 2, 3, and 4 under contracts? And it's moved. Do I hear a second? Okay, all ayes. Any nays? Abstentions. Okay, so those 4 aspects have been approved. Demetria, can you go on now to the childcare, which probably Rebecca has to abstain from?
Okay, this is just local match. Last month, we presented to you match that we had already secured. We have 2 additional partners that we received their contributions, Dallas College and the city of Mesquite. So now we're only missing the remaining amount is 438,000 plus. We're hoping to receive an agreement with Dallas College. We have been in conversation, we're just waiting on approval. And once we get that contract from them, we'll be fully secure for the year. This allows us to draw down the 8.3 million for direct care services to children, eligible children that we're serving. So if we don't secure the funds, we don't get all of the 8.3 million.
Who's leading the effort to secure the final funds?
That would be me. We're okay. We're going to be fine. We have until January 31st. So I'm working with DISD. And they have in the past committed $1 million to us. So we'll be overcommitted. So no problems.
Any questions on this one?
Well, that concludes my presentation. We'll need a motion on it.
Okay, I have a motion. And it's moved. Any second? Thank you. All the ayes, all the nays, and abstention. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you very much, Demetria. Also, just a word that I should note here. It's difficult to know how someone organization is until they lose something. And then you kind of find out more how they are. And Equus has behaved in this interregnum period so honestly, nobly, helpfully. I want to thank them very much for assisting C2 and showing us that they can be a long-term friend out there. Thank you. All right, on that wholesome note, go ahead, Rebecca. Connie.
Connie. Oh, good morning. That kind of caught me off guard. Okay, so page 19 of the board packet, if y'all look at your procurement, we have several for recommendation. Chairman, what is your preference? Would you like me to go through everything or take each one?
Let's take these one by one.
Okay. All right. So beginning with the annual audit and tax services, we released a procurement on September 4th with a due date of October 2nd. As a response, we received 2 proposals. One was responsive while the other was unresponsive. we recommend reopening this procurement just because we just have one proposal to review and we think we need more responses. So what we're going to do is post something in the Dallas Morning News this Sunday and release the procurement very soon. I can't really say when, but very soon. So what we would do is make a recommendation at the earliest board meeting. For
Can I ask, what's a non-responsive bid proposal?
non-responsive, they're not submitting all the required documents that the procurement document require. Most of them missing signatures.
Not fully responsive.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct, yeah. So that one was just a briefing. Moving on to the other two items. We released a procurement for office furnishings that released on September 18th with a due date of October 9th. This was procurement for newly board-approved workforce center leases. It was the Garland and Irving lease. So we received two responsive bids, one from Business Interiors and one from New Tangram LLC. We reviewed, evaluated, and scored. The team, based on this criteria indicated in the procurement, the team recommends the high scoring bid, which is Business Interiors. So the recommendation is board authorization to purchase office furnishings with Business Interiors. Any questions on that one?
Any questions? Do I hear a motion? I'll do one by one.
Hello? Okay, I was checking to see what the cost was gonna be on these firms. Have that.
Well, they submitted an initial bid of over 600,000, but we're in the process of negotiating on that cost.
So what are we bidding on today? Just saying we're gonna go with them no matter what?
Yeah, state the exact motion that we're going to be.
The motion is board authorization to purchase office furnishings with Business Interiors. So we can always come back with a ratified amount at the next board meeting.
Yeah, that makes sense. Let's do that. Okay, under that understanding, do I hear a motion? Yeah.
What about other workforce centers? Do we have furniture there that can be reused?
Yes, we plan that was another reason why we're going to negotiate is we could mix and match from other workforce centers. So that was the plan.
Generally, what's the schedule for this? Is it sort of a once every 5 years thing? Is it like, how does it work?
I believe Alex is starting immediately, starting ordering. We already have the floor plans where Alex is, but yes, we're starting immediately, especially for the Irving Center.
Yes, the Irving Center, we're moving locations and I can see why you would think, why wouldn't we just pick up these cubes and bring them over to the new center? It's
Right.
very, very old. It was already retrofit to go into that center. So it's kind of unusable at this point. It's falling apart. For Garland, the space is bigger than the current Garland lease space. Because we're going to now be co-locating with vocational rehabilitation services, which we are not doing at the current location yet. So we'll definitely need more furniture for that, but we will look to see what could possibly be moved over and cleaned up as well. Mhm. Yes. Yes, good point. Yeah. Roland makes an excellent point. Everything VR related, the additional rent for the additional space, those cubes, VR will pay us for that. So that won't come out of the budget that we already have. They'll give us additional money. At any of our centers that we're co-located in. Mhm.
It may be jumping ahead, but do we know anything about the Dallas College space over there in Irving where this furniture might be going there?
Yes, we will also need furniture for Dallas College. I think I mentioned to you all that they have already completed work at the site. So it is ready to move in. We are on the last step of getting this lease signed. There's just one more question on the costs for the the door security feature at the door. And once we have that, we should be able to sign the lease. So very close. Those furnishings are part of this procurement, correct?
Yes, correct, correct.
Probably vote on the budget, but did we set a budget for the furnishings already? I just don't remember.
The furnishing estimates were included in the budget approved for fiscal year 2025. So that 600,000 was included as a line item in the budget approved for 2025. Yes.
Motion's been made, seconded. All the ayes. All the nays. Any abstentions? Rolinda's abstained. Okay. So moved.
Okay, so thank you. For the last procurement item is for a broker for healthcare insurance for a small group. Again, we released procurement on September 18th with the due date of October 9th. We received 3 bids: Arthur J. Gallagher Risk Management Services LLC, Marcantel Insurance Services, and Marsh McLennan Agency. The proposals were evaluated by a team of independent reviewers based on the criteria in the procurement. The team recommends the high scoring bid with Marsh McLennan Agency. The recommendation for that is board authorization to approve a new broker agreement with Marsh McLennan Agency to renew our health insurance at the best rate we can achieve.
Can you remind me, is that who we used before? Marsh McLennan?
No, Marsh McLennan, we do use them for risk insurance, but Marcantel is our current broker.
Any questions?
Include the benefit of incumbency of Marcantel? Is that part of your process?
It is,
Okay,
yes.
as there is some advantage because they know you so well, but,
Correct.
but,
correct.
okay.
Yes. Any other questions?
Questions? Very a motion? Thank you, Ken. Any second? Karen? All the ayes. All the nays. Any abstentions? Thank you, Connie.
Thank you.
All right, let's have some information, please.
Good morning. On page 21 is the monthly performance report. And this report shows 5 missed measures. But I will say the data for measurable skills gain is limited, and it's actually for the next board contract year. The information for this board contract year is we're meeting all those measures. So really, we're missing 2 measures, and that is the dislocated worker credential rate and the claimant reemployment within 10 weeks. I just wanted to say that, but I'll be happy to answer any questions on the performance before I just touch on the economic snapshot. Okay.
I just have a request for maybe some follow-up information.
Okay.
It would be good to have an historical view of how we've done on the various measures. Like, is this a measure that we miss quarter after quarter, year after year? And then with respect to all the other ones, I would just like to know what the trend has been over time. And so if you could go back about 3 years on it, in terms of whether we missed it or not.
Yeah, I think in presentation, it's almost like looking at the quarterback rating for a bunch of teams. You can have all those stats of incompletes but you kind of want to have a big picture up front.
Yeah.
So I think that's what Dan's headed at, is sort of where are we trending? Where have we trended?
And that's a good point. And I will say do you think the performance comparison is that useful? Because there's one that breaks down all of the measures and how the other workforce boards are doing.
Yeah, and that's also very interesting when you look at page, I can't even read it. Gosh, I'm getting so old here. Anyway, when you look at the measurable skills gains, adult DOL, every board has, with very few exceptions, have not made the measure. So,
Yeah.
What's that all about? Is that just a?
And that's just, there's only one quarter, and there's very little data on it. But the metric for measurable skills gain for this contract year, we're meeting all of them for adult, dislocated worker, and youth. But the state put in next year's, I believe, because it was just available. So they just went ahead and just put that in. There was only actually 2 months of information, and that's why it looks a little funny.
I think completeness is important in numbers because we want to treat numbers correctly. So always have them, but then have them tucked in behind. I think teasing out what is the most important and comparisons both in history, but also picking the right peer group. We don't want to compare ourselves to the tiniest boards. It's almost meaningless. So we're going to have our peer group that we go head to head with, and then we're going to have ourself we go head to head with. And those numbers need to be just what is the most fair way to represent it, no CYA, but also not too doom and gloom. Just make sure we know exactly where we're trending. That's all.
Okay, that's fair. And I will also include for our January meeting, performance trends for the last 3 years.
Great, that's perfect.
And then, but if there's any more questions, I'll go to the economic snapshot. So I'll just give the highlight. The labor participation is trending a little downward. Also, job postings is also trending just a little bit downward. But one thing I did was look at all of the job seekers that are in work in Texas, not just claimants, but everyone looking for a job. And there's a section for what kind of occupations they would like to have, what kind of occupations they desire. And they almost match to all of the current job postings. So I think there is some work we can do to fill in, customer service and truck driving and software development, just pushing or sort of connecting those job seekers to some of those open positions. And if maybe training is needed, keep that as an option. But that's my takeaway for the economic snapshot, but I'd be happy to answer any questions if there's any.
Richard, how are you reflecting gig workers and sort of off the grid workers on these numbers?
The gig, they are, quite a few of them are registered and work in Texas for, to see what kind of occupations or jobs that come up. So we do work with them. They show up in some of the estimates for labor pool, but they can fall through the cracks. People driving Lyft, Uber, or maybe just doing contract website development and things like that. But we try to reach them as much as we can.
Can you just remind us what the unemployment rate is for Dallas County
Certainly.
and compare that to the state, because I know it's less. Oh, I'm sorry, it's 4.5. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. And I know that I've read a lot in the media about it, but what is your take on this big change from July to August in both Dallas County as well as the state?
There has been a little uptick in unemployment insurance claims. That's a state, a local, and even a national trend. It's not huge yet. Next month, with the shutdown, some of those federal workers could hit this unemployment rate pool as being out of work. So that could tick it up just a little more. I think, it's just something we're keeping an eye on. But yeah, the number of people filing for claims, there is an upward trend.
I know you have a little bit of time before the January meeting. If you could sort of look into Dallas is an inland port, port of first entry, and we're trade related. Just sort of try to figure out, tease out how much of our workforce is trade linked, and if that's got any kind of, deterioration in it.
Yeah,
Thank
and it
you.
is significant. That we're fortunate to be in an area that has easy access to all the highways with all the transportation inland port. But I can get a little bit more concrete on some of those numbers and.
Thanks.
And then just the last thing, there was a question on AI, and I did put that on page 22, and just how AI is impacted. So I thought it would be neat to see what Microsoft's Copilot said. So I asked the question, and there was the response. Now, the last paragraph that was written by a human. So and that was, what are the opportunities with employment for all the data centers? And there is a lot of opportunities with networking engineers and technicians, but also things like HVAC, people that can do kinds of building maintenance, electrical engineers, and other electrical types of technicians. So there is opportunity for employment and the people we serve to move into some of those positions.
Thank you. Any other questions? Yeah, Michelle.
Oh, I'm sorry. Mhm.
Okay, testing. Okay, so I just had a question. So when we look at the top 10 job openings over the last 12 months, I was wondering if the programs in which we approve and fund for our training providers map to the placements of these opening positions, because I would argue that we should be funding training programs that will kind of support the data.
Yes, and a lot of them do match up. Truck driving is huge. We train large numbers of truck drivers, over the road CDL drivers. That's big. We don't necessarily do any training for customer service, but we're always putting people into those positions.
Thank you, Richard. All right, Rebecca, talk to us about quality assurance.
If you'll turn to page 43, I'll give a brief update on the fiscal and program monitoring conducted by Christine Wynn and Associates. The Dallas College fiscal reviews final with no issues. The following reviews are complete and pending reports. Dallas College, both the youth fiscal and the youth program. AEL, Adult Education and Literacy for Wilkinson Center, Irving ISD, and Richardson ISD. And the RECE program review. RECE again is Reemployment Services and Eligibility Assessment Program. And the fiscal reviews for EQUIS and Child Care Group are ongoing at this time. I believe EQUIS is almost completed. Are there any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca. I believe we're not having a closed meeting this time, so we can actually, unless there's anything else to say or talk about, we can start to move to one of our happier times in this meeting, which is to talk about what people have done well and what we've done well and how our friends have done well to help us. So without further ado, I want to welcome you to our annual awards ceremony. Today we're here to celebrate incredible performance, people, partnerships.